Morning everyone. I thought I would talk through my shoot day routine in the morning. First thing I do is grab my reindeer onesie, which is super cozy for going out and walking the dogs first thing. Luckily we don't have any neighbours, so no one can see me. I then turn the heating up so the house is nice and cozy, and then head to the boot room to start letting dogs out. First dog I let out in the morning is Cedar. So it's usually still dark at this time, but I just get her out in the garden. The house dogs, especially Betty, always look at me as if to be like, not yet, not yet. They love a lion. So the house dogs are usually the last to go out. And to be honest, usually I do them before I leave, just before I leave, because they just don't want to get out of bed. But here's little seedy pig running around to go to the toilet. I just turn the main light on, and then she's got enough light to get out and about to. She's usually pretty good. She's pretty quick. The only thing she's doing at the moment still is having a couple of wees in her bed through excitement initially. So we're still going through a lot of puppy beds just for that initial excitable wee in the mornings or at food time or at bedtime. As you can see, it's also quite a wet day today. Typical at this time of year. The next thing I do is let her have a drink, and then she waits on the outside bed while I just, again, take her beds out and refresh her crate. So I'll take the beds out from the night before, because she will guaranteed have had an excitable wee in the morning. Then spray the crate, mop the crate, and then obviously refresh it with some nice new beds. She's being really good. She's knows that she's to stay on that bed. One of the first things I teach a pup is a bed area. So first of all, obviously in the crate, and then after just in outside areas, just to gain some control, harness their energy. You can see she's quite an excitable dog. She's a lovely wee pup, but to contain her energy and just have some form of control, it's really helpful to have her just place herself onto a bed. I do it with all of my dogs. They all know a bed command, which is super helpful, super handy when you're taking them on holiday or when you just want to chill with a coffee and you don't want them all over you. Once I'm done with her bed, once I've refreshed her crate, I head into the kitchen to make a coffee, and you can see she stays on the bed there as well. The coffees I love at the moment are the Kenko cappuccino, and I just put them into the velvetizer from Hotel Chocolate. I put everything in there at the moment. Just makes it nice and frothy. The kettle isn't getting used, which is a shame. But yeah, I just put everything in there. They're like a powdered coffee. Chris likes to add water, likes to add milk to them, but I don't. I just use water. So turn that on, let that get going. Cedar's still on her bed, being a good girl. Very good girl.
What you doing?
And then once I'm ready, I let her through to the living room. So again, she knows, just go straight to the bed. And ta-da! I quite like having her with me for my morning coffee. Just so she can, again, learn to chill out in a different environment. Learn to chill out when I'm around her. Really helpful to transfer, again, when we go outside to different places, and there's obviously a lot more going on. There's people moving, so this is kind of a good transitional stage. Look at how frothy my coffee is. Absolutely love it. I'm addicted to these and have been for about a year now. Cedar's tempted. But no, she's really good. She just has to stay there while I have my coffee.
Cedar.
I usually use this time to answer any emails, messages, texts, just everything client-wise before a shoot day. Sends the bed flying. And then once I'm done, had my coffee, had a bit of a chill, done any work I need to do, I pop her back in. May started whining, actually. The night before, she'd been on a shoot and she's quite old now, and she was a bit stiff, as you can see when she's walking out, and she hurt herself the shoot day before. So she didn't want to come out for a bedtime toilet, and I could hear her whining, which is not like May. So she went out and she had a toilet pretty much straight away. Bless her, she was obviously desperate. But normally I wouldn't do the house dogs until I leave. Head upstairs to get changed into my shoot day gear, and then it's the outside jobs, and it's light. Yay. I normally try and wait till we have some form of daylight before I do the rest of the jobs. So I come out, unlock all the kennels. Everyone is shut in at night, just in the cold weather. It's so much nicer for them. They've got hatches on the front of their kennels, so they've got the inside and the outside, and then they have hatches that shut them in. Most of the dogs have the water on the inside to stop it freezing this time of year, and also so they've got water at bedtime. But 2 of the puppies still knock it over, so they have to have theirs on the outside, because otherwise the beds will be really wet. So you can see Ragnar is one of those culprits, and Rune is also one of those culprits. The first lot I do is the boys. I normally do the boys and girls separate, just because sometimes in the year the girls are in season, and it also just means I don't have to watch so many dogs, and I can make sure that everyone's been to the toilet. So we have like a little paddock at the side of the garden where we call it the poo paddock, and we just walk our dogs down there. So as I said, I take the boys and then the girls. It's just really easy to have one specific place for poo picking and just keeping everywhere nice and tidy. When I do have clients in, they just go in the garden, which again is really helpful, because sometimes I can do clients while Chris does our dogs at bedtime if we want to get to bed quicker, and in the morning if we need to go out places. So I usually keep my clients in a habit of going in the garden, and then my dog's in a habit of going in the outside area in the poo paddock. I then head around the back to straighten out any beds. So at night, if they've maybe ruffled up some of their beds, made sure that none of them have gone to the toilet. They don't tend to go to the toilet on the inside in their bed area, but sometimes the pups have the odd accident, and also even something like if they'd been eating something manky on the shoot day before and someone's been sick. I just like to make sure that all beds are clean and fresh. Normally on a non-shoot day, I take all the beds out, I brush them all out, and just give it a proper refresh. But on a shoot day, I just give it a check over, make sure nothing's out of sorts, and then if any beds are wet, or which they shouldn't be, if they're wet or smelly, I'll take them out. I do the same at night, usually more at night time. I'll double check that no beds are wet. If it's been a wet day and the dogs have been outside, they've gotten wet and they've gone inside into their bed and made the beds wet, I obviously take them out and give them a dry bed before bedtime, just so it's nice and cozy. So that's the girls all done. I just call them in by their name to each kennel. See, Tilly's very happy about going back in. Tilly loves her bed. She absolutely loves her bed. She's never out of it. I then decide which dogs I want to take. So I'm taking Oak and Alka. That's Alka jumping over the wall. She does that for sport. Aiden, Tilly, and then I take Tilly's and Oak are jumping the gun and running ahead. Then I take Thor and Jake and Colonel. So again, I ask them all to sit and call them one by one into the truck. The reason I call them each individually out of kennels, into the truck, out of the truck, through a door, isn't just for manners, it's for safety. There's a lot of times I'm parked up at the side of a road and I need my dogs not to all run out. I also think it's quite a healthy manners exercise on a shoot day to have the box open and have them just stay put. Thor also loves lying on the tailgate. He lies on the tailgate and hangs his feet over and looking all pretty and poses. So yeah, I find it a super helpful thing to have taught them. So now I'm heading into the back to double check the girls' beds. So lift up the top and you can see Runa's waiting. So all the blankets, they have a vet bed topper, and then a blanket, and then they've got a plastic bed with a vet bed topper and a blanket as well. So they each have a round bed, and also just it is like no paps please. You can see that they've got the option, if they want to curl up in a plastic bed then they can. If they want to sprawl out on like a full square, then they've got the space as well. And also they had their water. Rune didn't have her water inside, but the other dogs have their waters inside. Now I'm going to start a dog wash. So I have a pile of the dirty dog beds or wet dog beds at the side of the kennels. So I put them into a wash bag, obviously to stop any hair and dirt from getting clogged up in the drain as best as possible. Any leaves, that's a big thing this time of year. There's always leaves in the dog beds from obviously sat outside waiting to be washed. So I head back in to pop that in the washing machine. I always put in one fill bed, one topper and one blanket, or two fill beds. I don't put too much in because otherwise it doesn't drain properly. And then I'll maybe pop one of Rune's, one of Cedar's beds or blankets in, depending on how filled the bag is. So her little pile is by the door where she's had her little excitable wheeze. So I just use Daz. I put 2.5 cups just in the bag, and then I just get the cheapest laundry fabric conditioner that I can find. So just whatever is cheapest in Sainsbury's at the time. I think I buy 6 boxes of Daz and 6 conditioners at the moment for winter, because obviously the dogs are wet more often, they're mucky more often from the shoot days, so anytime beds are dirty and smell, I obviously refresh them. So I'm taking the beds off of the hanger, maiden, that's the word, couldn't think of the word there, to pop back in the kennels. They're all the dry beds. I do a lot of bed washing this time of year. It is non-stop. I have piles on top of each bed. So on top of the insides of the kennels, I have piles of full square vet beds, blankets, and the vet bed toppers. The vet bed toppers are just the old vet beds, so I buy a bulk of vet bed about twice a year, just to refresh it so it's thick, it's got no scraggly bits where dogs have maybe pulled them apart, pups have ripped them, played with them. But I keep the scraggly bits and just call them toppers, and they're really helpful this time of year, especially because if they are wet, it just gives them a layer. So they've got a blanket to scruff up, they've got a topper to scruff up, and then they've got a nice fresh fairly new vet bed as well. So now it's time to put the Crocs away, trusty Crocs, and pop on the Dubarrys, ready to go.
So clothing wise, it's raining today, so I'll just put my hair in a ponytail. You'll hear May whining because she thinks she's coming, even though she's not coming, because yesterday she literally went for a hen bird, got stuck in like I don't even know what it's called, that's terrible, like thorn vines. And got like wrapped up, was after a running hen and got stuck, and then even more determined, so she literally just like plowed through it, flipped over, got the bird, almost wiped me out in the process. And after she picked it up, she was like limping, she was a bit sore. Also, she is 11 and does not realize her age, so she is having a day off, but she will absolutely whine about it. It's really sad. I hate leaving her at home. Oh, she looks so tired as well. Like last night, so you will have seen earlier on the video that I ended up letting her out before I let out the other house dogs. Like the house dogs love a lion. And she was whining, bless her, because last night before bed she didn't want to go to the toilet. She was like, I'm too stiff, so she didn't go out to the toilet last thing last night. So she was desperate this morning. Like normally May is not awake when I get up in the morning, but she was whining while I was having my coffee, so I let her out for a wee, and it was a long wee. Poor thing. Clothing wise, I have my Frontiers cap on so that it keeps my head dry, but it's not cold enough for a woolly hat today, which I'm gutted about. This jumper, I don't know where this is from. I've had it for ages, probably just like a New Look, or I can probably see, I think it might actually be New Look. Let's see if I can, see if I can see. It is. Oh, that hurt my eyes. It's a New Look jumper. Musto gilet. I do away with shirts and ties this time of year because no one sees them. No one sees them. No one would know I don't have a shirt and tie on. Normally, I do wear a shirt and tie, a shooting shirt and a tie, because I like to kind of like just make that effort. But this time of year, I don't need to. No one's going to see them. So I literally just have Cabela's t-shirt on, and I'm pretty sure it's like got paint on it. But no one will know. No one will see that. I have my Laxin tweeds on. They're lovely. They're such good quality. Nice fitting. I like the colours as well. I feel like women's tweeds are so limiting to buy from like a brand. So yeah, I do like these ones. These are new this season. See there, stop it, we're going in a minute. Yeah, these are new this season, and so far I really like them. Grouse socks on, it's a little grousey. And my Dubarrys, my trusty Dubarrys. I love Dubarrys. I posted on Instagram not that long ago about what I wear, and I really rate Dubarrys. I've worn them since I was 17 out in the field. I used to, when I worked at the kennels, I used to wear them at the kennels as well. I used to wear them riding my horse. And I think my first pair, I bought my first pair, my first bonus from the kennels, and I loved them. I think they lasted me about 3-4 years, like without splitting. Bearing in mind when you ride in them, obviously you put like a bit of like a, so when you put your heel down, you put like a crease in that bit, and you put the pressure on, and then they maybe split a bit more. And as you can see, I don't look after them. I'm really bad. My friends from further down south, Hester and Rosie has a pair, and when they come and stay with us in the grouse season, because they don't have grouse where they are, and I watch Rosie take care of her Dubarrys after every shoot day, and I feel awful because mine do not get that love, care and affection. And every single time I buy a new pair, I'm like, I will look after them, I will look after them. Even sometimes I'm like, I'll have a nice pair, and I'll have a pair that I'll wear out training, working, walking, shooting, and I just wear them all the time. I literally live in them. I should change this to better in Dubarrys, but I've always been better in Willies, but yeah. The reality of it is I'm always in Dubarrys. Come on. Shush. See ya. Tita. Got my jackets on there, and this cover is brilliant. And Tita comes with us for a day out. She loves. She's very excited. Now I just need to let the house dogs out. Eddie. You can hear him, he starts whining. Macy because she thinks she's coming. She doesn't do that on a normal day. This is her thinking she's going scooting. You're not coming today, May. May. Go on out. Betty, out please. Oh God, I can't possibly get through the door. Betty, go on. Come on. Come on. Chaos had a brush last night. So she like, when you brush her, she like poofs out. And then after 2 days, she looks like a scrag again. Come on. Come on. Go. Okay, so I do not normally do this, but I feel that bad about May staying behind that I am giving her a piggy snout. Piggy snout. Piggy snout for the ginger pig. Oh, Jesus. You could have, like, yeah. So, that's me just being a big softie, basically. Giving May something extra because I feel bad for leaving her behind because I never, ever leave May behind. Which also is not okay for her. I do think it's good for her to learn that obviously she doesn't come on every shoot, but basically, yeah, I gave her a treat because I feel bad. I'm only human, don't judge me. But yeah, she definitely didn't need a treat. I sometimes give them treats at like the end of a shoot day, if like a few of them are in the house or things, like they're just like a nice little extra. Yeah, anyway, so that is my get ready with me on a shoot day. Bit mental, bit sort of, well, not really. I feel like once it starts to get light, I just have loads to do, but I quite like getting up in good time to have my coffee. Like, one thing I love in the morning, I will get up at 4:30 if I need to have half an hour sat with a coffee, just to chill out, just to answer some sort of client messages and emails, get up to date with stuff, especially on a shoot day, because I like to come home. I do sometimes do some work as well after a shoot day, but a lot of the time I'm like, you know, it's all that in reverse. I'm consuming once we get home. Sometimes I've got travel, and then I just want to eat, and then I just want to chill out myself. So I try and get some a bit of half an hour chill, and try and get fully prepped basically before the end of the day.